You're running late. You hit the crosswalk button. Hard. Then again. Then a third time, because somehow that feels faster. The light doesn't care. It never did. Here's something most people will never find out. That button you just mashed with your thumb? In many cities around the world, it isn't connected to anything. Not a wire, not a signal, not a single circuit. It's a prop, and you've been pressing it your entire life. In New York City, transportation officials eventually admitted something they'd quietly known for years. Of the roughly 3,250 crosswalk buttons spread across Manhattan, around 2,500 of them did absolutely nothing. Just plastic, just an illusion. The lights changed on automated timers. Your frantic pressing changed nothing. But here's what's strange. Nobody noticed. People pressed the button, waited, and when the light finally changed, they felt like it worked. A small rush of satisfaction, problem solved. Moving on. The button didn't control the traffic. It controlled something more important. It controlled how people felt while they waited. Now think about that elevator. You step in. Someone's behind you. You stab the close door button. The doors close. You exhale. A New Yorker investigation once found that most close door buttons installed since the 1990s don't function the way passengers assume. They're technically wired, but locked behind a keyhole. Only firefighters and maintenance workers can actually activate them. Everyone else is just pressing a button that politely ignores them. The doors were always going to close at exactly the same speed. You just didn't know that. And that's the interesting part, because if you didn't know and you felt better, then, in some strange way, the button worked perfectly. There's a Harvard psychologist named Ellen Langer who spent decades studying this exact phenomenon. She called it the illusion of control. Her research found something unsettling. When people believe they have influence over a situation, even when they demonstrably don't, their stress drops. Their well-being goes up. They become easier to be around. Perceived control is very important, she said. It diminishes stress and promotes well-being. Think about what that means. Cities weren't just being lazy when they left those broken crosswalk buttons in the ground. Removing them would have cost millions. But more than that, they were accidentally doing something useful. They were giving people something to do with their hands, something to push. A tiny ritual of agency in a world that mostly moves without them. Doing something feels better than doing nothing, even if the something is nothing. This goes deeper than buttons. Thermostats in office buildings are one of the best documented examples. Heating and air conditioning professionals have openly admitted installing fake thermostats, dials that click, that light up, that feel satisfying to turn. The actual temperature is managed centrally, but employees who could adjust their own thermostat reported feeling more comfortable, more focused, less irritated, same room, same temperature, different button, completely different experience. So why does this work? Why would a species that sent people to the moon, that mapped the human genome, that built the internet, why would we be fooled by a plastic button? Because we were never built for waiting. For hundreds of thousands of years, doing nothing in a dangerous world was a death sentence. Standing still meant you weren't hunting, weren't building, weren't protecting anything. The brain learned to equate action with survival. So when we're forced to stand at a crosswalk, trapped in an elevator, freezing in an office, the nervous system starts to panic quietly. The need to act something, anything, becomes almost unbearable. The button is the answer to that panic. It's not a lie, exactly. It's more like a pressure valve, a small mechanical exhale. Press the button, and your brain shifts from passive to active, from waiting to doing. The cortisol drops slightly. The frustration eases. You pressed it. You did something. Now you can breathe. The next time you reach for that button, you'll probably still press it. That urge isn't going away. But maybe now you'll catch yourself mid-press and think, wait, is this real? Or is this just my nervous system needing something to hold on to? And the answer is, maybe both. Maybe a button doesn't have to actually work to do its job. Maybe the most powerful thing it can do is make you feel just for a moment like the world is listening.